Starting in quarantine without an end in sight, we're bringing to you advice and good conversation from one teenager to another. This is Sanika, the co-host of Armbridge Podcast. Last week, we talked about personal style, I believe. And this week, today is August 3rd, and I'm going to be talking about relaxation. So I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. I'm going through it right now. Oh, Lord. I've had a lot on my plate in terms of, deadlines coming up and, I don't know, just a lot of things are going on. My allergies are flaring up again, and so it's, physically hard for me to breathe. And so I'm trying to fix that as well. And it's just I could keep complaining, but that's not what this podcast is for, so I'm not going to. But regardless, I'm having a moment. And so I tried recording a podcast a couple days earlier, and it was very, very obvious that I needed just a couple days to completely unwind and relax and not do anything. So today is Monday night. The episode comes out tomorrow, and I am recording this now. So I decided, instead of stressing myself and, choosing a really heavy topic, let's talk about relaxation, because that's something I've really been focusing on for the past couple of days. So if you guys would like to unwind with me, sit down, get yourself a cup of tea. I have rose, chamomile, and tulsi tea right here. And I'm going to enjoy it as I speak with you guys. And yeah, get yourself some tea. I'm going to put some lo-fi music in the back of this video, in the background. It's going to be a vibe. We're all going to relax. We're all going to go to sleep. We're all going to have a good time. Good vibes only over here. All right? Cool. So, I have pulled up questions from Psychology Today that say, or the title is 5 Questions to Help You Relax After a Hard Day's Work. So, I will read these. I'll give my answer, and then maybe you guys can think of what your answer to these questions are too. And hopefully we can all just relax together. How about that? First, I guess what prompted this, as I said, I've kind of had a lot on my plate recently, and because of that, I've been stressing myself out a lot. But luckily, I'm trying to be better about it and recognizing when I'm burning out, so I can, just sit down, unwind, make myself feel better before I get back to work again. And so for the past 3 or 4 days, that's exactly what I've done. I haven't sung any because my allergies, as I said, are really bothering me again, and so if I do, it's just going to strain my voice and make it worse, and we're going to make a bigger problem than there already is, and we don't want that. So no singing. I haven't really touched music either. I wrote a little bit, which was nice, but it was not stressful. I didn't push myself to do it. I also just crocheted. I'm almost done making a beanie. It's very cute, and I started crocheting a blanket, and I think it's going to turn out very nice. It's going to be very soft, very comfortable. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I also have colored a little bit. I have a couple coloring books because I gave them out as goodie bags for my 13th birthday, which was 5 years ago. Holy cow. But I still have a lot of them left over because we bought extra, and so I've just been coloring in those. Of course, tea. I've been napping quite a bit as well. So I've been doing my part to just completely dissociate myself from the tasks at hand and just relax. And I think in a couple more days, I will be ready to work again, which is great. So that's the reason I'm making this podcast very quiet, very relaxing, very soothing. And I think to relax things a little bit more, I should probably stop fidgeting around in my chair. So I'm going to stop that too. All right, let's get started. I think there's only 4 questions. Yeah, there are only 4 questions. I think that's a mistake. Oh, well, okay, I'm going to take a sip of tea and we're going to begin. So the first question is, how long do you need after you get home before you're ready to chat? So, as all of us can probably relate to at the moment, quarantine has most of us working or studying or doing most of our tasks at home. So I don't know if it's as much how much time after you get home that you need before you're ready to chat, but I guess just like how much time after work. But even so, I guess for me during school, I'm definitely not nearly as stressed as I was during the school year, so I could probably answer from that context. During the school year, especially like my 2 hardest years, I would say after I got home, I needed at least an hour before I was ready to chat. I think one of the things that frustrated me about school, despite me being an extrovert, is the fact that I was just constantly around tons and tons of people at once. Like if it stressed me out as an extrovert, I can't imagine what like introverts or like even like people with social anxiety must be going through during the school day. Like that must be so hard. Yeah, so I remember really, really not liking school because I would just be overloaded with people and I'd constantly have to like maintain a facade and like present myself a certain way in front of them. And so when I got home, I was just so tired of like talking and trying to like present myself in a way that doesn't imply that I had 5 hours of sleep and did not want to be there. So when I got home, I was pretty pooped. If you ask my mom, she would also tell you that my expression when I got in the car from school was nothing less than dead. I would look super grumpy, super tired. And I'd go home and usually I'd just take a nap, like straight up. I'd just put my backpack on the floor, get in bed, fall asleep, and then wake up and go about the rest of my evening. So I think about an hour. Versus in quarantine, since I say quarantine, but like I'm not actually quarantined, just in like social distancing terms, I still need like maybe a good 15-20 minutes after I get out of my room, because that's where I do most of my work. I have my little desk space over here and I do all my tasks, and then I go out in the living room to remind my family that I am still here and still alive. No, I'm kidding. We're all working, so we all just kind of gather around 5 o'clock in the living room and bask in each other's presence for a little bit. But yeah, I think I still need like a good 15-20 minutes. But since there's not much socializing going on to start with, I'm not as overwhelmed by people, so it's pretty chill. I think I'm good now. What about you? How much time do you need after you get home before you're ready to talk to people? I'll give you a moment to think about your answer. Okay. Question number 3. I'm talking to a camera. This is really funny, but oh well, it's okay. Number 3, which is number 2 for us, says, what's your ideal weekday evening timeline for maximum relaxation? This is something I definitely did not have a good grasp of in high school. Like, I never really set a schedule for myself in the evening when I got home. It was just like, get home, put my backpack on the floor, sleep, eat, then study, then like stress myself out, study some more, then maybe take a small break and go on my phone for a bit, stress myself some more, study, and then sleep. There was not much going on. Plus, I don't think I really had time to start with to really try to relax myself. That was another thing. There was always enough homework that there wouldn't be much relaxation time anyways, but now I'd say I think it's pretty much what I've been doing for the past few days. as I said, I've just been crocheting. I also made a nice friendship. So today's Raksha Bandhan, which is a Hindu. Is it Hindu or Indian? I'm not sure if it's like just Indian. I think it might be Hindu. Regardless, anyways, it's a holiday that my family celebrates, where we have, it just celebrates like the bond between siblings or like brother and sister. And so we get to give our brothers little bracelets called Rakhis. And it just kind of symbolizes that bond, that tie. And so it's nice, it's cute. And it gave me an excuse to make some really like fancy friendship bracelets over the past few days. So I think any kind of like art or craft that requires a level of thinking and a level of focus but doesn't like take up brain space, I would definitely fit that into my schedule somewhere. Like crochet, once you learn how to do it, it becomes just like habitual. It's very rhythmic. You just kind of repeat the same task. Sure, you're counting a little bit here and there, but more or less, it's like just repeating a motion. And so it kind of allows you to just focus on that and not let your thoughts wander too far anywhere. It's very relaxing. So something like that, coloring, crocheting, friendship bracelet making, who knows? I would fit something like that into my evening. Definitely tea. I love tea, not the caffeinated kind, but like chamomile, or like the one I'm drinking, rose and tulsi, or turmeric and ginger, you know, anything relaxing. I as I said in a previous podcast episode, I journal, so I like to keep a lot of time in my evening for that, just so I could write my thoughts down, get everything on paper. Yeah, I usually, for journaling, I do it about an hour and a half before I sleep. I usually try, like, I'm the kind of journaler where I don't like keeping things concise. My journal is like a novel, like it's story format. So I try to give myself a lot of time so I could write in as much as I can. And the reason, also excuse my breathing. If you can like hear it, as I said, my allergies are really bad and I'm kind of struggling to breathe. So it's okay, it's a vibe. Hopefully it's not bothering you too much. But yeah, what was I saying about journaling? Right, so the reason I liked journaling, and the way I picked it up to start with actually, was that so in 5th grade, I had to read a book for my middle school. It's called How to Get Organized Without Losing It. It's actually a very helpful book. It's like kid-friendly, nice format, very organized, you could say. But it definitely helped me like kind of get my stuff together before middle school and organize my papers, my tasks, you know, everything in a nice, neat, clear way. And so one of the things the book suggested for de-stressing was journaling. And I was like, sure, I kind of wanted to try like doing that for a while anyways. So if it'll help me in middle school and help me, you know, get those straight A's, then sure, why not? So I started doing it in 5th grade. It was hard at first, obviously, because it takes time to build habits. And so I just did my best to stay consistent, try and write every day. And it became habit pretty quickly. Like within a few months, it was like I can't go to sleep without writing. And so even now, I've gone through like at least 10 journals. And I write almost every single day before I go to sleep. And the reason I like doing so now, not just because it's like organized, not just because it's a good way to organize, but also, as I said, de-stress. It, you know, before you go to sleep, you don't want to have like a bajillion thoughts like floating around your head and like occupying your brain space while you're trying to rest. So it's good to just like write it down and kind of let it go. It's like, okay, it's on paper. I'm not going to forget this. And so I could just sleep now. So that's one thing. Also, it's really nice to like look back and read some of these things again, aside from my middle school ones, because we know how that went last episode. It's cute. Like I still have my diary from 5th grade, and every once in a while I read it and I'm just like, wow, I have come so far. And I know it's like a super cheesy thing to say, but it's funny. Like I was 10 and just reading my thoughts as like a 10-year-old and like how I process things, how I comprehended things, what I thought of certain things. It's just very cute. Like, I was so innocent and like little, and life was so simple. Again, everything I'm saying is so cheesy, but it's really nice to have it on paper, as cliche as it sounds, just so I can look back on it and be like, wow, yeah, I really have changed a lot. But at the same time, not really. Like, my personality has been pretty consistent. It's just that I've developed, I've matured more. I talk about a lot of ideas or like things I've discovered or lessons I've learned in these diaries. And so reading back on it, it's like, oh, so that's how I learned about this. That's how I got this belief. That's how this happened. It's just interesting to have my thought process for pretty much everything on paper somewhere. So I would definitely suggest journaling if you haven't gotten into it yet. It's like a time capsule. It's very nice and relaxing as well if you're into writing. So, yeah. Number 4. Do you have some time when you aren't requiring your brain to concentrate on an activity? So, I'll be honest, I don't. I'm trying to get better at that. As I said, most of my relaxation kind of comes from doing repetitive tasks or tasks that don't require much thinking, but they still do require thinking to an extent. Like, I am focusing on something, my mind is still active. I try to meditate, I'm trying to get better at that, but that's kind of the designated time where my mind's just completely blank and I'm not trying to focus it on anything. The website I'm using, Psychology Today, it suggests like sitting in the window and gazing out at the cityscape or sitting on a porch and looking at your garden. I do that when it rains. I don't know about in like normal weather necessarily, but when it rains, I definitely like just like sitting at my window, watching it fall. It's very relaxing. It's very peaceful. I don't know if I've said it before on this podcast, but rain is my favorite weather just because it's so cozy. It's like, I live in Texas, so when it's sunny, it's not just sunny, it is like oppressive heat constantly. And so sunny weather is not very fun over here. Yeah. So when it does rain, which isn't it's pretty common still because again, Houston is like near the Gulf, whatever, it rains a decent amount. I really like when it rains. For one, the temperature cools down, which is lovely. But along with that, it's just very relaxing. It's very cozy. I love how the rain sounds are rhythmic and they just pitter-patter on the roof or on the window. Even when it rains really hard, it's like, it's cool to look at the lightning. I used to be scared of thunder like most children, but I think it's kind of cool too. Like, not to make this super like poetic and cliche, but I love how like full the sound of thunder is because whenever you hear it, it's like, it like echoes and it just kind of gives you perspective as to how like freakishly large the sky is or how like large the space we live in is, if I'm making sense. It's very powerful. So I find joy in thunder as well. Yeah. So do I give my brain some time to not do anything? Yeah, kind of, sometimes. I should give my brain a little bit more time. Yeah. Speaking of giving more time, I think one thing I definitely want to work on in my life is balance. Because for me, my breaks versus like work time is very sporadic. It's very like up and down. It's not smooth sailing, Like, I will really, really, really work hard and like overwork myself for a couple weeks, and then it'll like completely crash and burn and I'll be like forced to give myself a couple of days where I just do nothing and completely detach myself from the tasks I have to do. So I'm trying to get a little bit better at kind of recognizing the signs early on, like the signs of burnout, so I could incorporate mini breaks within my day, so I don't have to take like a complete week or like at least 4 days off where I just do nothing, like absolutely nothing. Instead, I can, work a little bit, relax a little bit, work a little bit, relax a little bit each day. So it's more balanced, as I said earlier. So, yeah. You can go ahead and think about this question as well. Do you think you balance your day well? Do you think that you give yourself enough time to not concentrate on anything at all? And the last question. I really wish I could see number 1, but I cannot. So, it's okay. What best helps you release physical tension from the day? I think music is one big one. For obvious reasons. I mean, you listen to things that bring you joy, and it's just nice to sit down and focus your thoughts on something that is pleasing to you, is pleasing to your ears, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to overanalyze why I like music, but music is definitely one thing. I also like to kind of just go for a small walk each day. It doesn't have to be really, really big or long or like exercise, but either just like in the house where I like do a couple of rounds from the living room to the front door, to the living room to the front door, to the living room to the front door, or if I go outside and like in the evening and just look at trees and the sunset. Yeah. So walking is definitely another one. But I feel like, actually, well, that could probably give you more physical tension, which isn't a good thing. Let's see. Oh, there's this relaxation technique. If I remember the name correctly, it's called the Wim Hof technique. I think that's a breathing technique. I don't know. There's another relaxation technique where you lie down on the floor. My dad taught this to me, and it's really, really nice. You lie down on the floor, you put your hands like this, like above your head, but it'll be like on the floor, so just parallel to your head, I guess. And then you elevate your legs 90 degrees, and you like kind of put them on a chair or something, so you're sitting sideways, if that makes sense. And that's very relaxing. It apparently like resets the curvature of your spine to like its default, and it's just, God, I hope you can't hear my brother laughing. Okay, anyways, he's watching a show. But yeah, that technique is really relaxing because it resets the curvature of your spine to like where it's supposed to be. Physical tension, also chamomile tea, this lovely little mug I've got here. I think that's the most of what I do. I guess since I have 5 minutes until deep questions with friends, that's so contradictory. I'm doing a whole episode on relaxing, and then I'm going to go into deep questions like, all right, let's end this with a crisis. I might make the deep questions about like relaxation or, more calm than usual. But I guess what are some things that help me relax? Like material things, because sometimes, I mean, it's nice to be like non-materialistic and stuff and, have things that can help you relax that don't require buying anything. Clearly, I haven't slept well, if you couldn't tell from my grammar. But, yeah, what are some things that make me relaxed? I've said tea at least 5 times. So tea is definitely a big one for me. These, again, are super, like, cliche and basic, but plants and candles. I mean, plants are, like, scientifically proven to help, like, boost your mood and help you feel better. They also help you breathe better, assuming you're not allergic to them, which I am, but that's okay. They're nice to look at. So I keep a bamboo in my room, and I have another, I don't know what kind of plant it is, but it's a desert plant. Yeah, it's not a succulent, but it is a desert plant in my room. And I want to get a little succulent collection, so we'll see about that. I don't know. I love hugs. I'm sure like we all do, but hugs are really nice to help relax. It's just wholesome. Yeah. I miss hugging people. I don't know if I've told this to like at least 90% of my friends at this point, but like the one thing about coronavirus in terms of like my social life that I really, really, really miss is hugging other people. Oh my God. Like I didn't realize how much of a mood booster it was until I became completely deprived of it. But God, I miss hugging my friends. I'm giving all of y'all virtual hugs right now because you need it. I need it. We all need it. So hugs for everyone. Also like soft clothes. Like we all have that favorite pair of pajamas. Super, I know, again, cliche, basic, but it's simple little things in life that bring you joy, that bring you relaxation. So, yeah, I like having a couple of pajamas that are either like really like loose fit and ugly and I could just feel like a troll under a bridge wearing it, or it's like super cute, super soft, super fluffy. Like, you know, like the Christmas pajamas, the ones you pull out on Christmas Eve and it's like, I'm going to be cute in this. It's one of those two. So I like those. Those are very relaxing as well. And stuffed animals. I have way too many, simply because I don't hoard stuffed animals, but I can't let them go. Like, I get emotionally attached to my stuffed animals, and then when it comes time to like donate them or wash them, I'm like, if anything happens to you, I will cry myself to sleep. So stuffed animals definitely relax me as well. And yeah, what relaxes you? What are some things in your house that you use to relax yourself? That was the 5 questions presented by Psychology today. I kind of just rambled again, but hopefully this helped you relax. Hopefully it's got you thinking about your own life, your own relaxation techniques. And now that we're all relaxed, I'm going to take us to Existential Crisis Boulevard, and we are going to answer philosophical questions. I think we've done most of the happy, relaxing ones already. So, you know what? I feel like for today's Deep Questions with Friends, we could actually just continue this and find questions to help us relax. Ooh, these are really nice. I like them. I'm going to use these. But before I do, we have to have our song of the week. So for me, I'm going to choose No Song Without You by Han. And it's a very relaxing song. It's very easy to listen to. The lyrics are simple. They're very cute. They're very wholesome. So if you're on YouTube, go listen to it on Anchor or Spotify so you can get the preview, because I don't want to get a copyright strike for it again. We did the first couple times and we learned our lesson, but that's okay. So if you're on YouTube, you can listen to this on Spotify or Anchor to get a preview of the song. But if not, let's go into relaxing questions with friends. Ooh. What do I have in my life right now to be grateful for? So as I said, in my weekly planner that I have a little section, or the journal has a little section devoted to gratitude, so you can list one thing you're grateful for every day. I try to go past the cliches. Obviously we shouldn't take things like family and food and shelter for granted, but I feel like those are kind of the default answers, and at a certain point they lose meaning, like we just repeat it. So if that's something you genuinely do appreciate that day and you're not just repeating for the sake of it, then yeah, I think that's plenty to be grateful for. And of course I am, but I don't think that's the main thing resonating with me right now. I think right now, today, in my life, I'm really grateful for the time I have right now. As I said, I'm in between high school and college right now, and so it's like a weird in-between period. But because of that, I also have no obligations in terms of academics or in terms of like having a job. Most of the stress that I'm putting myself through is very much self-imposed and just tasks I want to complete for myself, rather than actual like work obligations or like school obligations or anything like that. So I'm very grateful for the amount of flexibility and the time I have right now to, one, do the things I've been wanting to work on for a while, and two, also relax whenever I need to. Like, I don't have to put my feelings aside right now and just finish a task because it's due in a couple of days. I could just tell myself to flip the switch, and it's like, okay, no, I'm relaxing now. So I think I'm very grateful for that. And I'll give you a moment to reflect on something you are grateful for while I drink my tea. Oh, I really like this one too. Okay, so this says, what's one phrase I can affirm to myself that will help me relax and feel more at ease? So recently, for me, that phrase has been, it's very simple, very, I don't know. It's simple, but I have on like a post-it note on my wall, like right in front of me, it just says, patience, you're doing great. And I've been using that to make myself feel better a lot recently. I think one thing that's definitely been on my mind recently is the whole like feeling very rushed to do tasks that I want to get done. Like, I feel like, okay, I have to do it now or like within the next few years for like my long-term goals, or else it's game over. And I've definitely been stressing myself a lot by telling myself that. And so because of that, I'll try to push through things and, you know, go further ahead in tasks than I'm ready for, when clearly I don't have the repertoire or the energy even sometimes to carry out that task. And so I've been looking at that post-it a lot, where it's just like, patience, you're doing great. Because I think it's important to remind myself, again, as simple of a lesson as this is, and however cliche this is, we all work on our own timeline. And there was this really good kind of lesson I took from the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F by Mark Manson. You should read it. That said, society, or like the media, only ever shows you the top 1% and the bottom 1% of society. So you only either see the super genius prodigies that got things done very, very early on in their life, or you see the absolute like miserable failures and failures in quote, because I mean, that's subjective. Any failure could be a learning opportunity, but you see the absolute like worst of society. So I think it's really important not to compare ourselves to that, and just trust that, I mean, hey, I'm not a genius, I'm not a prodigy, and then one, that's perfectly okay, and two, because of that, I can work at whatever pace I want to. I have 80 years on this planet, so not everything has to be done before 25. I don't expire at age 25. So yeah, that's been my go-to phrase recently. If that helps you, then I'm glad I was your muse, but if not, think about a phrase that will relax you right now. And not just at this moment, but in general during this period of your life. If you need an affirmation that you could turn to, what do you think it would be? And number 10, this one's a little bit deep. It might unrelax you a little bit, but I think it's good for the long term to think about. And it says, well, it's number 10 on the website, but it's like our last question for here. This website is called wendyleads.com, and the article is 10 powerful questions to calm your anxiety. So if you would like to check it out, it's a very nice website. I like these questions. And it says, this last question says, what would my life look like if I could move past this fear and focus on the positive possibilities? So personally, I think if I were to move past my current fears and my current anxieties and my current irrational worries, I would probably achieve the balance that I'm looking for right now. I imagine that I wouldn't feel the need to rush myself or overwork myself just to catch up with this top 1% I'm constantly comparing myself to. And so I think because of that balance, I would be using the time I use overworking a little bit more efficiently, where I would take some time to let myself rest and recharge, and then I would be able to use the fewer hours I devote to working more efficiently. So I think currently, if I could move past these fears, that would be the positive outcome that I would achieve. I would be more efficient, I would be more balanced, and because of that, I would probably be more content with the way I'm working. So that's my short, simple, and sweet answer. And you can go ahead and think about that for a second as well. All right, and that's the end of this episode. Hopefully you liked it. It's a little bit different than my usual format. Honestly, this is like almost soft-spoken ASMR. Yes, finally Sonika's ASMR episodes come into fruition. But hopefully this was nice. Hopefully this was relaxing for you if you were actually using this to go to sleep and like unwind, then I hope I helped. If not, I hope this was still entertaining and this was a nice change of pace from our usual episodes. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and read the outro now. What has started in quarantine has now come to a non-temporary end. That is all I've memorized from the outro, so let me pull that up real quick. Again, everyone, what started in quarantine has now come to a non-temporary end. Huge thank you to the 2 websites I used today, Psychology Today and wendyleeds.com. We hope you continue to join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m., kind of, sort of. And until next time, this is Arm Bridge Podcast. Goodbye.